even when I'm about to make a score, just harboring a little bit of resentment towards the busting up of the PGA Tour, where they're scrambling trying to find some identifiable commodity, one of whom would be Rory McIlroy. If they could get McIlroy, they get to a kind of, semi-Tiger Woods kind of stature in terms of winning, it would certainly be a pleasant transformation for them than trying to sell Scotty Scheffler, who the only time he got anybody excited is when he got arrested. He was dragging that cop around like he was Randy Moss, which was a bullshit thing. I mean, when you really look at it, how does it? I understand that not everybody would recognize Scotty Scheffler, but you're a cop who's assigned to kind of monitor the traffic at the gate going into the golf course, and you're going to go ahead and give this guy a hard time and take him away in handcuffs? Get the fuck out of here. He's leading the tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
He's 2 feet from the gate. You couldn't just wave him in?
The whole thing was
He's hanging onto the car door like he's surfing. That was ridiculous.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Very pleasant. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. Coming on a little bit late here. Sorry for the people that were tuned in before and just said, fuck it. I'm not going to wait for these clowns until they finish up their other endeavors, which we got started a little bit late on that. And then there were some developments there that weren't particularly favorable. So here we sit, ready to go. Tony Segreto is going to go old school with us around 8:30 today. So that's always fun. The legendary South Florida broadcaster Tony Segreto going to join us. Brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. And, of course, this is a little bit of a getaway day for us, Lubie, as we're going to take the next couple of days off. And that is in the celebration of the 4th of July, which I'm thinking, Lubie, this one really needs to be observed very, very deeply.
I think it's the last one.
This is it, right? This is our last day of celebrating independence.
The fact that the
from tyranny
are galvanized behind what anyone in America 10 years ago would have been aghast at.
Oh, my God.
The fact that the Dems are falling apart and are like thrusting for, like they want in, what is it, July? And then like the whatever the, what is it called? The convention's got to be coming soon. They want to have an open convention and start picking candidates literally 2 months before.
Good, yeah. How about Mo Green, man?
I mean, I don't see how it's not the last one. I mean, the fact that it's every week now, the Supreme Court come, like the funny thing about the Chevron thing last week, like people don't understand what that was. That was, and most times in America, would have been the worst thing to ever fucking happen. The fact that now judges are going to decide agencies, right? Like Food and Drug and all these different agencies that have medical professionals and have scientists and have credible experts deciding on what we ingest. Now they won't matter. Judges are now. Judges who don't know anything about any of this stuff. No. Judges now will decide.
Yeah, that's a good move, yeah.
That would have been the worst thing ever. But then they said, hold my beer. We're going to really go down in flames this week and say presidents are kings. Presidents are fucking kings.
I mean, it didn't become an issue until certain, asshole, can we put it any more gently?
He's an asshole, I mean.
Until we had a criminal in the White House.
Yeah.
I mean, guys on recordings trying to shake people down. It's insane.
Bribery is
the same recordings that put John Gotti away at his 4th trial. I mean, are just sitting there. And one of the things that in a court of law, you love it if you have a guy on tape, for God's sake.
My favorite
it's indisputable. I mean, there's no cross-examination. Oh. There's no question about it. Is that your voice? Yes, absolutely. Do we need to bring in some experts to verify that, or you just want to come clean?
No, he admits it. He doesn't even fight it. He doesn't deny it. He's made being a criminal okay for his party.
It really is like electing Gotti.
It's just whatever.
President.
To me, I'm accepting it's the last 4th of July.
Yeah, I mean, I'm considering the beach condo in Costa Rica is getting more and more. Dominican Republic might even be cheaper and maybe a little bit more.
I don't know where you go. France is going right. All these other countries have political issues.
France is out, man.
If America is not
very impolite.
The epitome of freedom, then we're fucked, because that's what people don't get. Like, my favorite is the gaslighting the right does. Oh, the liberals are losing it. This is literally no different than it's been. I mean, the Supreme Court's never heard this, so that already is a fucking lie. Like what they said this to me in 2016 when Trump won. Oh, don't worry, he can only do so much. Then in 2020, it's like, well, Biden won, yeah, but Trump packed all the courts nationally so that even when Biden won, it only mattered so fucking much. And last year, when
that was a permanent stench that he thrust upon America.
when Roe v. Wade
These
went
appointments,
down-
Amy Coney Barrett or whatever her name is. I mean, please.
When
And
Roe-
they stiffed the Obama guy for like a year. Well, at least we would have had one more
Obama should have
rational
put
voice on
someone in 2 months before the election. Obama had a year before, and they weren't allowing him, which is 100% fascism. Look, last year when Roe v. Wade went down, and I said, yeah, that's the beginning of the end. And they're like, no, I mean, whatever, you know, it's state by state. Like every time some crazy shit happens, the Republicans are like, oh, don't lose your mind, you crazy liberals. It's like, dude, when is it like that? In the movies are always like, oh my God, I guess we were wrong. When they're in shackles and they're fucking, the world is orange, the sky's orange, and there's zombies running around.
I mean, it's heading in that direction, man. George Orwell, I mean, he sold us short.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Even he couldn't have anticipated the nut job, situation that we're experiencing now. So enjoy the 4th of July is what we're saying. It'll be your last one.
It's the last one.
As we know it in America, in all appearances. And unfortunately, this mad scramble. And nobody's talking about the real issue is that the other guy, no matter what, I mean, level of dementia Joe Biden is experiencing, the other guy is a flat-out stone criminal, just period. I mean, in every respect of the word, including any. I mean, like I keep wondering. I made the mistake. I told you this yesterday, Lubie, of engaging somebody on Facebook who had put up this stupid thing. Well, I'd rather vote for 34 felonies than this. Like. Oh, really? Okay. And it was a woman, and I'm thinking no self-respecting woman could ever have gotten by. Grab him by the pussy. Which the guy, I mean, look, maybe, is it guy talk? He's in there trying to show off like he always does, Mr. Egomaniac, to Billy Bush of all people. And what happens? The people that trail in this man's wake all go down, including Bush, who lost like an extremely lucrative job because he happened to be sitting there. And instead of saying to a guy, which that's a weird situation, isn't it, Lubie? I mean, if you were interviewing Don Shula and all of a sudden he said, you know what, because I'm a celebrity, I can go up to any woman and grab him by the pussy. It's Shula, right? Well, it would kind of, strike you in such an awkward fashion that you might be along the same lines as Bush in his reaction, right? Instead of saying, hey, what are you talking about, Donald? He just sort of said, you think you would have done that if Don Shula said that?
No.
Would you have given him what are you going? Don, you're a fucking asshole, and this interview is over.
If I knew cameras were rolling, I would have done the fake laugh and gone, okay.
What about the book? Yeah, exactly.
Into it. But again, look, the guy is literally, I just find it funny that everyone around him,
the wake is just unbelievable. The trail of
and he doesn't get in trouble, and that makes him good.
Never.
It's like, what world would everyone around you being imprisoned or charged with stuff and you getting away make you good? Like, wouldn't that make you?
They just shipped Steve Bannon off, right? Danbury, Connecticut. Isn't that where some famous white collar criminals have been positioned? No. Steve Bannon, who and the big joke on social media is that this will be his first shower in some time when they delice the guy. Hey, Lubie, that's the 4th of July coming up. Now, it used to be about doubleheaders. It used to be about baseball and Valentine for me. 4th of July. Yankees were playing a doubleheader. It was great. Then the Mets working at Shea, man. We loved it. Those steaming hot July days. The beer salesmen were happy. The guys that were selling Coke said they were a quarter, too, Lubie. Can you imagine? 25 cents. And people used to bitch. It was almost like you posted something on Let's Eat South Florida. Can you believe these clowns charging a quarter for a Coke? And 2,000 people comment. And then Mayo comes in with some kind of thing. Well, listen, you didn't put the city or the state in there. But yeah, it was a quarter for this shit. It was great. So I mean, equate that out to today. What do you have to pay for a soda at a ballpark? They have the nerve to make it over $6?
It was 5 or 6, right? Wasn't it 5 or 6? I think they have
$5. Yeah, if I'm thinking 5 or 6.
Souvenir cup that's unlimited drinking, so you drink way more than you ever would drink, so you can get diabetes. is $8. Because you would normally just get one drink.
Diabetes here. Yeah, I mean, you're walking through the stands.
$2 more, you can just drink 3 liters of Coke today. Okay.
They had that at a restaurant I worked at many years ago. Steak and Brew was the name of the restaurant. It was a chain that was successful for a period of time, and it was a good concept. They had reasonably decent food. It was kind of along the lines of a Texas Roadhouse in the sense that it was good food, great portions, and reasonably priced. And then the kicker was you got unlimited pitchers of either soda or beer.
Oh, wow.
Think about that, man. For a college kid, are you kidding me? My God. That was the place of the famous incident. When I was drinking tequila, we were having a little band practice with a friend of mine. I still remember this kid, J.J. Rendina. And he breaks out a bottle of tequila, which we hadn't experienced, and says, "Here, try this." I think he might have been the guy that turned me on to cocaine, but I abstained at that point in time because marijuana was my limit. That guy was cool, man. He was.
Sure. He better have been cool.
I'll never forget when he's like detailing his car, his actual car. It was kind of a sporty looking thing, and he's painting like a number on the side. And I said, "JJ, what are you doing?" And he says, "I'm going to be racing at Watkins Glen." And he was. They had like some race that he had qualified for, and next thing you know, he's there like he's fucking Parnelli Jones. It was amazing. Oh, now Watkins Glen was more of a that was more of a European type of race circuit, like Formula One. Yeah. Remember those cars, man? They were like they had them on Wide World of Sports all the time.
Yep.
It's changed a lot though, because the Formula One thing, as popular as it is, Lubie, and I can't account for its popularity. Can you?
No, it's worse. I don't even.
Rich people attach themselves to this sort of shit, though, don't they? Like polo and Formula One racing. Is it just so they can say, "Hey, listen, we can invent the most ridiculous sports." and because we're filthy rich, people will look and admire the fact that we're there. I mean, who would you really find it to be any great distinction in your life if you actually went to the Formula One race at Hard Rock Stadium? No, you would have to be perceived as a clown. No, for thinking that this was worth spending your time and money on, but. Nonetheless, people buy it because rich people are convincing them to do so. All right. We have Tony Segreto coming up in just a minute here on the show. I did want to mention, I did the math on the Marlins over-under for the year, Lubie, which should we still be sweating bullets over this? I don't feel comfortable anymore. My confidence as a gambler has been shattered over the 73 years I've been, or 72 years now that I've been, comes to a conclusion. 7-2 comes to a conclusion on Friday, Lubie. On Friday. What do you make? 73 now. Tony Segreto is going to join us here. Let's see if Tony has some thoughts on this. Because he has dealt with aging and the aging process probably better than anyone that we know. Would you agree that that's a fair statement, Lubie?
Yes. What do you mean?
Look at the guy.
Aged.
My God.
It's fucking great.
I will be one of those like silhouettes that they, when your guys in witness protection.
Yeah, you guys are off and running this morning. You may have been late, but boy, you struck it hard. You struck it hard.
Oh, I'm so disgusted in a lot of ways. I'm trying to take a good approach to it, but I really believe this, Tony. I know you're probably on the same page. This is the last Independence Day that we will celebrate as we know it.
I think I felt so, my heart. My heart just broke how ineffective he was, Biden.
Oh my God!
On Thursday,
Jesus,
he was struggling. And
did you ever freeze in all your years on TV? Like freeze?
No,
because that's what you do. Yeah,
and he just. He couldn't get it out. He couldn't get it out, and it was a shame. It was
and his look of audacity was kind of even more indicting than the fact that he couldn't speak.
Yeah,
because he was showing his audacity at the blatant bullshit that Trump was spewing, but they would go to the split screen and he looked like a zombie.
He did. He looked like a zombie.
He was like,
I just felt so bad for him, and wow. now their damage control is huge. I mean, you watch MSNBC or CNN, and they're just
they're going to kill you with this conversation. I was a fan of CNN, but they're killing me now.
Worse. No, they're just they won't talk about anything else. The Supreme
Nothing
Court
else.
is dismantling America, and all they can talk about is Biden. He is old and looked old. Oh, shocker! The guy's fucking 82. What do you want him
to? I mean, Tony, you've already eclipsed this number, right? I'm coming up on 73, and I mean, you're not showing this kind of wear and tear. 70 fucking 5. That's unbelievable, Tony.
That's next year.
Unbelievable. The endless dissection of this thing, though. Unfortunately, I mean, look, you've seen teams and they go out and they get buried in the first inning, and then they mount some valiant comeback, but it comes up short because the damage was already done. And the image of this guy, unfortunately, to most people who don't listen to what's being said clearly, I mean, as you're listening to the other guy who, I mean, what's scarier than anything that Trump is all about?
What MSNBC pointed out that he had like 50 or 60 lies.
That's a low number. I would have taken the over.
It was incredible. It was every other word of it out of his mouth was a lie.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a saying about that, certain people like that, where you wouldn't believe a word they said if their tongue was notarized. And he could have had a stamp on there. He would have said, I know you fudged that, man. You just went to your buddy's office there, and he had the secretary. Go ahead and, sign off on that thing for Defo. I don't know if you've ever, I don't want to talk about forged documents or anything like that.
But you guys came out. You guys came out on fire.
You can't help it, Tony, because it's such a great day. 4th of July. I mean, it meant a ton to me in my entire life. I've always enjoyed this holiday, not because my birthday's the next day, because I'd rather forget about that. But I just love the whole concept. 4th of July, celebrating American independence, and it was a big sports thing with the double headers. I mean, it was fantastic.
It is the perfect way to spend the day, and not for anything, but how blessed I am, to be up here in Vermont and to experience it up here. To give you an example, my little town is
what's the name of this town?
Mount Holly, Vermont.
Mount Holly,
Nice.
Okay, named after my dog, my little dog Holly.
And we have a parade, and the parade lasts about 5 minutes.
That's it. That's the entire town's population participates.
That's it. It goes up the street and down the street, and that's about the extent of it. And
now, did you always look forward? I would imagine you were like me, a big baseball fan, Tony.
Big.
As a kid, I mean, you looked at the schedule when the season came out, much like you used to do with the Dolphins schedule to determine wins and losses, and you immediately put a big ring around all of the doubleheaders, thinking that and it was almost traditional. Like either every other Sunday or maybe even, I don't know if it was every Sunday, but you had at least a couple of doubleheaders a month.
Oh, easy.
At the home ballpark.
There was a Sunday I can recall when I was like 12 where every team had a doubleheader. Every team. And it was the best. It was you want to bring back those days?
No, I used to love it. I don't think I could sit through a doubleheader now. I mean, I don't know if that's the fact that I don't have the patience I used to, or the love of the game. At that level.
I got to tell you a story.
All right.
About 10 years ago. Well, no, not 10 years. 8 years ago, we're going to Detroit. So I said to Joey, Joey, we're going to go to the Tigers game. He goes, yeah, we're going to go for a couple innings and we're going to leave, right? I said, couple innings and leave. I said, we got to spend 9 innings. I mean, the Segreto house rule is if you go to
that's game, like putting Joey in the early games at Dania.
If you go to the game, you got to commit. So I said, well, okay. He's bitching and moaning, and we're going down there, and our seats are right behind home plate.
Nice.
Second row. And we sat there on a cool, July afternoon. And it was the absolute best. And Joey, when the game was over, said, that's it. It's over. See, it's over.
He had his field of dreams moment. Nice.
Hey, Joey, how you doing? He's watching.
No, we love
So,
him.
Joey probably could have hit a baseball at any speed, I would imagine. I mean, if he could connect with that cesta on the pelota going 150 miles an hour.
yeah.
And
sure he could.
imagine what kind of shortstop this guy would have been. Did he play any baseball? No, really, because I mean those scoop shots that they make are
He didn't play any baseball. He played high.
none, huh? Wow,
That was it. That was
what a
it.
fielder he would have been.
Yeah.
I can't, and of course, I mean, after the late great Willie Mays, he would have been a master of the basket catch, which he was for so many years. But the instincts, and I used to say this, Tony, and people will never be able to appreciate this again. It's another thing that's gone, it's lost. But if you went to an evening of highlight at either Miami and then later on, and maybe, I don't know, did you always grade Miami highlight, even with Joey, his departure to Dania? Didn't Miami have overall the better players?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Per player, Miami highlight was better.
They had some great ones, including, I mean, not quite as beloved in America as Joey, but the great Michelena, who still, I think, is involved there in some capacity. I don't know. I mean, he may be handing out, free play tickets at the door, but he was brilliant, this guy.
Wasn't Assis there too?
Aziz, yeah. Aziz, the last I heard, and I would imagine he's still doing this, became a very successful masseuse.
Really?
And actually is the masseuse for a lot of pro athletes in South Florida are being treated by the great Aziz, who what was a tremendous highlight player. But it was funny because I used to think this, Tony, and it was true. I believe that you would see, if you go to a baseball game, you might see, maybe if you're lucky, three great, I mean, truly great defensive plays in a ball game. Maybe you might see more, but that would be infrequently, and you certainly, could possibly see none. But at highlight, you would see at least 4 or 5 plays every night that you just were startled that the guy could make a play like that on a ball
every night
in any sport. Yeah,
and you walk away going, God, you forget you didn't, or you did have a bet because you were so captivated.
Oh, I never forgot that.
Lubie,
Drop it, you, and it begins with a C and rhymes with murder.
What are you going to do with him, Lubie?
How could you forget that you had money on this thing, Tony? I don't care how great it is. That's what makes it even greater, is that either the frustration of getting nailed by.
What are the odds of the presidential race?
Got to be overwhelming. I mean, I think it's signed, sealed, and delivered, Tony. I'm afraid to say this, but I just don't see the people. And maybe Lubie's right. I hope so. That the damage wasn't so overwhelming that the media, a good friend of ours, and you would be able to address this, Tony, being a media guy and a news guy. A good friend of ours, very analytical, and seems to be, on the side that I think of reason almost all the time. His name is Joe Casal, and he was saying that the reason that all of this, inflaming of the whole idea that Biden is senile is going on these, you mentioned MSNBC, CNN, obsessed with this, the New York Times. These are all failing media operations that are now drowning in a sea of red ink. And this is the only way to save themselves, because this is the thing that keeps people like. I got sucked into it too, and then I said, "Well, why am I watching this night after night? I mean, it's ridiculous."
That's what I'm trying to say. But people like Mayo and old school Democrats have lost their shit, and they're believing it. And so I've just given. I mean, to me, Nate Silver. It's funny. The convictions happened, right, and every number was strong Biden. Like Biden was fucking roaring, and Nate Silver was still, because again, remember, he's MSNBC, and no one gives a shit about news anymore. People get their news on their phone. Nate Silver was still pounding the table like on Trump. And it was like the New York Times, which I was wrong when I said Friday. They haven't gone right. They've gone uber left, where I forgot the New York Times still existed. Like the New York Times, literally, the last time I heard about the New York Times was when last year they got rid of their entire sports department because no one reads the New York Times anymore. The New York Times for the last 2 years has been pounding the table anti-Biden. And it's like, but the numbers are strong for Biden. And like, if you take a step away from what Trump says, yes, I know Publix is chicken's expensive, which we all know if you're logical, it has nothing to do with Biden. Like all the economic indicators, the job, all the indicators that ever matter in an election, all are strong Biden. So I'm like, okay, that's weird that Nate Silver and the New York Times, even now when everything's strong Biden and the polls are strong Biden and everything was strong Biden, are still leaning Trump. Like, what is going on? And then like my dad, in the middle of his insanity, because he's crazier than I am, was like, you understand it's because they need ratings. And I'm like, actually, that's actually sound. Like the debates have never mattered. Never. Like Barack Obama got pounded in a debate versus fucking Mitt Romney. Barack Obama lost every debate to John McCain. Debates have never mattered. I didn't watch the debate until Defo and Mayo were losing it. Like I expected Biden old, Trump insane. Like that's what I expected. So even if you see it, who gives a shit? Biden old. Trump
No, this was Willie Mays with the Mets.
yeah, but that's not true.
This was Joe Willie sitting on that Rams helmet, Tony.
You're allowed to think
it looked bad. You missed the first portion of it, but
I've seen it. I've seen the highlights.
Yeah.
He went. It doesn't matter. Biden's old. Trump's insane. Whatever old is, it's old. Biden old. That's the post again. A right wing rag. Biden old. Trump insane. But here's the deal: the media, Defo Mayo won't let it go. They won't let it go. No matter.
I've let it go. I unfortunately I've resigned myself to the fact that when the fireworks are going off, I am going to, kiss the America that we knew goodbye.
Anyways, it doesn't matter.
The next July 4th, it'll be totally different. I mean, I'm watching this. I mean, you talk about a witch hunt. I'm watching this Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh, she's crazy.
Oh my God,
she is absolutely.
This makes Salem look like it was.
She's insane.
Like justified. It was insane. Yeah.
Another thing is, and I hate to correct Lubie and Mayo.
Mayo's all over it though, but I mean, Mayo has political credibility with his columnist background.
The New York Times is still the Bible.
It carries weight.
It carries weight, and it's widely read. And
it's not widely read. The numbers are fucking a disaster, but it carries weight. It's still, if you want journalism, which I wish still existed, that's where you go. The problem is no one gives a fuck about journalism. No one cares about anything.
Well, and what's going to sell? I mean, you would think forever CNN was making it until this happened on the relentless attacks on Trump, which were more than justified. In fact, they undersold it, in my opinion. But now, I mean, this is it. This is the thing that's going to carry him, and so that's all anyone's talking about.
That's the thing. If you just
and the longer they talk about it, the worse it gets for the chances of somehow overcoming all this nonsense.
Here's the thing: I'm not some insane. I'm not a Biden. I don't give a fuck. Like I don't.
Yeah, Biden's old. He probably shouldn't be there.
I never would have wanted Biden. I'm the one that said before the last election, Biden should not be the candidate. But every other candidate against Trump lost. So at some point you just say, fuck it, right? Like you just say what's going to work, as immoral as it is to have a 78-year-old at the time, right? 77-year-old who doesn't want to be there. Because Biden, remember, he got in the race late. He didn't want to run. He was done. As immoral, because that's what it is, right? It's unethical to have that guy be your candidate. We can't be represented by him. They're represented by him. Like if they can be represented by fucking Trump, why can't we be represented by a goddamn
senile old man? Yeah,
like that's my problem. Like I know it's unethical. I know it's immoral. I get it. Like why would you put him through that? Let's go get someone no one wants.
Well, it's funny. I mean, we've been having this conversation now for the last 8 years, and it's unfortunate. That's the state of affairs. So enjoy July 4th. Now, what do you think about this? I mean, how un-American is this? That because he signed a contract with some manufactured meat company, that Joey Chestnut will not be able to represent his long line of championships and successive championships at the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, Tony. And do you remember going to Coney Island and getting not necessarily your first Nathan's hot dog? I can't recount that, but the many times that we went there and you said, holy shit. Did God send these straight from heaven, these French fries? I mean, the first time I had them, they were beyond incredible.
Coney Island, first of all, is still legendary. It's still.
Did you ride the Cyclone when you were a kid?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that was scary.
That was the first time that I realized that I had motion sickness.
Well, and it was made out of balsa wood, I think. The structure.
and I couldn't go on another ride after that.
Yeah,
I can't.
How about the parachute jump? That was the other, real danger test.
I didn't.
Daredevil ride.
The parachute jump because after the ride, I got so sick.
Oh yeah, wow.
That I swore off every kind of ride gizmo that there was. But Coney Island, their hot dogs and their French fries
Oh my God, the best.
are renowned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, what do you think? Is it unjust? Should the Supreme Court not have considered Joey Chestnut's plight? And instead of allowing our presidents to be blatant criminals, then and that only came about because we had a criminal in the White House. Otherwise, I mean, it was not even a consideration. Yeah.
Let me ask you this question: the Supreme Court, in all their wisdom, have you ever? Could you, up until a year ago, whatever it is, could you name a Supreme Court justice?
Oh yeah, sure. They were renowned. I mean,
now
the educational system was telling you that this was to be just completely respected, and all of these guys were worthy of your respect, even the most heinous of right wing fascist Supreme Court justices. But I mean, you had to respect it. They were the final word on virtually everything. But they ought to just, if he was not in his 90s, I think now they should put Don King on the Supreme Court because he is as accustomed to. He's probably handing out as many bribes as Clarence Thomas has taken in running the World Boxing Council for all those years.
Clarence Thomas is.
How do you have a guy that's he's riding on some wild buffalo with a bow and arrow, having just shot an elephant on some guy's dime that happens to be like a giant Republican donor? I mean, get the fuck out of here, Tony.
I'm getting gifts in accordance with.
You should be doing news today, Tony. You should be back in the news.
Well, no,
you should be doing news.
But they don't want to do news. The news now, you're not wrong actually, because like all this crazy shit's happening, and they keep going back to the debate, and it's like even if you believe what you believe, and that's fine. There's enough to talk about where you don't have to keep talking about that. Biden's talked literally 5 different times since then. Biden's talked every day since then and has looked good in every time he's talked.
How did he blow that one thing? I mean, all he had to do was hold it together for 90 fucking minutes.
They fucked up.
And then he was backpedaling. It's like he got hammered by a left hook right away.
He got hammered.
And he's off the ropes the rest of the fight. And no matter what he does, the judges are seeing the blood streaming down his face. And they're thinking,
what he'll be remembered for is that debate. And
unbelievable.
The media
has the look of a scared bunny.
Yes.
He really did. I mean, Tony, this is hard to say because, unfortunately, we have many people now that, fallen in this category of, where you're observing them in hospice care. But he did. He looked like he had that hospice care face, didn't he? Like, where you're like, oh, shit, this is somebody that I knew to be a very vibrant and lively and, intelligent, whatever person that was living a life in a joyful fashion. And now looks like a zombie. And that's what happened there. Hey, what did you think of the Panthers parade, Tony? Did you watch any of that? Was it televised in Vermont? Were you able to see it?
It's not televised here, but boy, oh boy, what a show. It was great. It was great. And they had the guy went into the ocean with this cup.
Oh, Kachuk. Yeah, that was terrific.
It was quintessential Miami at the time when you needed something to boost the community up.
A lot of young people there. I mean, the weather was atrocious. I can attest to that, being just a few miles north of there. And you could see it coming, and it didn't.
Didn't stop anybody.
Didn't stop anybody from celebrating. The team was fantastic. A great bunch of guys, easy to root for.
Yeah, easy to root for.
Even more engaging. Once you got to know them a little bit, what little bit you get to know of athletes now, outside of seeing them in sporting context. But wow, I mean, what a terrific group to represent a professional team here. You wish it was the same, and it used to be somewhat that way in other sports. But I think the Dolphins. Remember, you used to know everybody. Well, you especially. I mean, you knew everybody, and you'd see them around town, and you don't see that anymore.
You know who represents that? The Heat. The
Heat. You think they do? I don't know. NBA is so guarded, in my opinion. I mean, that's what I find. Even knowing Tim Donovan from the, he's been the sports and from what would you call it, PR director of the Heat forever, and always very cooperative, kind of serious. I mean, it's not like. Did you ever get a laugh out of Tim Donovan?
No,
I'm sure he has laughed. But
he doesn't.
He's very Riley-esque in that, and Riley will give you that laugh. He's known for that nervous laugh.
Riley's toned down.
And you can tell when he's joking and putting you on a little bit too. But I mean, it doesn't it seem guarded, Lubie, to you? I mean, you never experienced And when they first came on the scene, they were extremely accessible, Tony. Maybe, in
From what
their
I
origins,
heard,
they were like
the
that. Yeah.
teams a time ago used to be much more community entrenched and
Yeah.
open to things. Now, look, the Panthers still are pretty good about that. The rest of the profession, I mean, to
Other
get
professional sports, forget it. It's hands
I
off,
mean,
my
it's
friend.
cool. Donovan's great. They don't. You never get players like
Let
we
me
were
say
the
this.
home of the Dolphins, and we never got. I mean, the players we got were like the guy that you never heard of.
Yeah.
Like it's just
No one outdistanced Charlie Callahan. He was
Callahan
smoke.
was your man. I didn't
He
experience
would
any
smoke.
Callahan. I
He
don't think.
would drink
Yeah.
4 Roses. He would dot her in and dot her out. But you have the 4 teams now, and they're guarded because there's so much media attention. There's so much attention on them that they have to be guarded, and it's a shame. But look, my daughter came in from New York last night. We were talking. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, they have elevated the WNBA from down here to up here in like that.
20,000 last night to see Caitlin Clark in Las Vegas.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Biggest
amazing.
crowd I think they've ever had, and that's in a city where, did they win back-to-back championships? They
Yeah.
have a great team there. They're not playing great so far this year, but they certainly could be a factor there. Listen to me analyzing WNBA games and teams.
No, but it's true.
How screwed up is that, Tony? But think about that. That's the impact. Me, Mr. Cynical. Watching a little WNBA pregame show last night. Now, there wasn't much else on, I would have to say. But,
you watched the WNBA pregame show?
A little bit of it. I mean, because I've become a huge Caitlin Clark fan, and I find myself rooting for her with every fiber
ounce
of my emotional body and mindset. Because she's an extremely clever passer, and I'm very much a fan of
that. People don't recognize that about her.
She's almost Ernie DiGregorio with the passes. I mean, she dishes off. She had a little segment last night that I caught. I wasn't watching the game in great depth or anything, but in about a 1-minute span, she dished off 3 really pretty bounce passes that hit the player in a place where and this didn't show up as much when she was in Iowa, but because at least in the WNBA, you have players that are better at converting at the basket. So and she really is a clever passer. I mean, she gets a few of them stuffed back in her face, but in general, I mean, her passing is extremely entertaining, and I love that aspect of basketball.
And the WNBA has elevated its presence in all the sports like no one's ever seen before. It's astounding. It's
Typical of the day. I mean, but we're at a time too where a woman could spit on a man's penis and become a superstar. Think about that. So I don't know how to evaluate that anymore against traditional ways of becoming famous and popular and having your game being appreciated. Now, what do you make? And while we're on the topic though of money and fame and media, the NBA, I mean, this kind of startles me because I'm thinking, and Lubie and I have been talking about this for the last couple of days, where TNT drops out of the rights fee race in the NBA. Now, other than the NBA, TNT is banking on Matlock reruns and Barnaby Jones to carry this. Now, I don't even know what they have on TNT. Do you ever watch TNT for any other reason?
It's like a million Law and Order episodes.
Okay, all right. But, this is a network where this, even as a loss leader, has to be beneficial because you know how things are sold in the media. They say, hey, you want to be on the NBA game? Yeah, you're buying 7 episodes of Petticoat Junction also along with that.
Petticoat Junction.
Yeah, well, whatever else they're running. Wagon Train, I mean, stuff that's so far in the past, nobody, not even a geezer like me, would be watching this stuff.
Wagon Train.
But they drop out, and then you're looking at the salaries in the NBA, and you're thinking, if they're dropping out because the interest isn't drawn, enough to compensate them for their outlay of cash for the rights fees, where they're just bleeding red ink. How does this sustain itself after a while?
I don't know. When I saw TNT dropped out of the running, I couldn't figure it out. I could. Who else is it now?
Well, I mean, it's got to be because it's just it's a sieve of cash.
Yeah, the ratings suck. The ratings are.
Yeah. So I mean, no matter what, after a while, you're going to try to sell me that 2.0 again, Joe. I tell you what, call me back next year when some people are looking at this shit. It's crazy, right? But that was the one thing they had. It was just right out of Goodfellas, right? Karen, that was all we had. She flushes the Coke down the toilet, and you're fucked.
Yeah,
unbelievable, Tony. Unbelievable.
I want the NCAA is still sticking with it, right? With TNT and TBS and CBS and.
Well, I mean, it's up to they have to, I guess, have something. But it startled me that you could see these 50 million, 60 million. There was some scrub I never heard of that just got like $8 million a year. He's averaging about 4 points a game.
Yeah.
And
the salaries are.
Oh my God! And you're thinking 24 million for 3 years for this guy. That can't be right. I mean, you're looking at it with a magnifying glass, thinking that your vision is going, and then the other numbers. I mean, for guys that would be considered well past their prime, 36-year-old basketball players are getting 4-year deals for 200 and change in terms of millions of dollars.
What do you think about this, Lubie?
Look, I am fine with players getting paid because it means the owners have the money. It's just astronomical what the low. It's crazy to me that everyone gets crazy money. Like I get the best players, whatever. It's been said for years. LeBron can make $500 million a year and be underpaid for the attention he was bringing to the league. Problem is the ratings are down. Like that's what I don't get is everyone getting paid. At some point, it's going to catch up because they're going to have to do a reset. Like the dollars are there now. I guess NBC must have paid a ton of money because they want to get back into the sports game or fortify their sports game with Sunday Night Football. And I guess the Notre Dame stuff. But like, how long is that going to last? The ratings every year are worse and worse. I mean, they just are. And then the playoffs is
not Notre Dame or Sunday Night Football is the number one rated. Yeah, and Notre Dame football. NBC, I work for them and everything like that. My daughter works for them. But if you look at their portfolio, they only
maybe they'll save the NBA. I don't know.
On the sports that they feel they can get value out of. And they get value out of Notre Dame. They get value out of Sunday Night Football. Now with with the Big Ten. That's critical to their portfolio. So,
is it set yet, Tony? Your trip to France? Are you going? We need reports from the Olympics in Paris. We would be leading the streaming league if we could pull this off. Well, and have our own correspondent, not only a correspondent. I mean, not some schmuck that we found as a stringer. We're going to give him 10 francs and he's going to go get himself a couple of croissants somewhere. I mean, we're talking about Tony Segreto, legendary television broadcaster and the prominent host of the George Michael Sports Machine.
If I don't go, we'll have my daughter, file a report every week.
There you go. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Let's go to Paris, France now, and the Olympic Games. Well, the trials are going well here, but prelims, I guess they were.
And my daughter's doing gymnastics too, so she's going to be covering.
Now you got Simone Biles there. I mean, you're a guy that looks for the big story. I'm not sure necessarily what it is. I mean, Simone Biles, you would have to think, is going to draw massive amounts of attention from the networks.
If she gets away. If she can win one gold, it'll be a big deal. It'll be a big deal.
Didn't she win the all-around in a triumphant moment for the United States of America and gymnastics in general? Where's Mitch Gaylord? He's got to be retired. I mean, who else is in this thing? I don't even know. Do we have like top gymnasts? I actually watched a little college gymnastics because it fascinates me. These guys can do this shit.
Oh yeah.
And were you any good, Segreto, in the still rings? No. Imagine doing a handstand on those two fucking things. I couldn't even hold them to get up. I mean, they would ask you to do the first chin up, and I was like, you'd be dangling there, some old Jew just dangling there.
Oh my
A
God.
handstand perfect with a body that looks like it was carved right out of Greg Louganis, when he was going off the Acapulcan cliffs. And you're thinking that's great. So I do watch some of that in tremendous admiration because, it's always great to see somebody that's doing something that you absolutely can't conceive of doing.
I've just been informed
Yeah.
by my daughter.
Okay. She going to do it?
This is the first time.
First time that the USA is sending 2 gold Olympic all-around medalists.
Oh wow.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay.
Simone.
She's already doing the graphics. No wonder she's so successful early in her career. Well, that's wonderful, man. I mean, that'd have to be a great experience.
Yes, it's a great experience.
Yeah, I never, I can't say I ever covered any Olympic events.
I've been to 2 of them myself, and they're extraordinary. When you think that the whole world is watching.
Kind of like this show, Tony.
Huh?
Yeah.
Kind of like this show,
Yeah.
or the debate for that matter.
Not the whole world watching this.
The world is watching, Tony. They're watching. All right, how are you celebrating the 4th? What's going on? You got the family in town. Nice.
Family's in town, and some
Everybody's
friends.
in? Everybody?
No, not my son.
Okay.
My son's in Atlanta, but my daughter's here. My wife's here. We're gonna have some friends over, some
Nice.
barbecue. We're gonna stay outside. It's a gorgeous day. It's now 68 degrees.
Oh, stop it, Tony. Get out of here. It's
It
not true. There's global warming. Aren't you aware of this?
It's gorgeous. It is gorgeous, and we may try and get some Texas Roadhouse burgers or something.
Oh, beautiful, man.
Nice.
Well, I mean, when you light off that final bottle rocket or whatever it is that you're using as fireworks up there, think about it as we, have the sunset coming for freedoms and choice in the United States of America. The very things that our forefathers stood for are about to go up in smoke. It's unbelievable.
Honestly.
Very political show today, Tony. I'm glad you use your
God.
news coverage instincts to join in on this thing.
Yeah, it was too easy because we got to save this country, and we got to save.
Man. Wow. It really is. It's Richard Steele time. I mean, we need somebody to step in and stop it right now before it goes any further. Tony, we love you, man. Have a great time. I'm glad you have your daughter in town. She seems like a very lovely person. I don't know. Did we ever meet Tony's daughter? I want to say no.
Not yet, no. We met his
No.
son, obviously, but we haven't met.
All right. Well, I mean, extremely proud of her accomplishments. And of course, always great having you on anything that we do. And wish you all the best here for a very happy 4th of July, my friend.
How can I say happy 4th of July to you 2 guys?
Yeah.
That would be the way. Yeah.
We love you. Happy 4th.
Yeah. Just think you're lighting our freedoms up on fire.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Whatever.
This is a disaster, isn't it, Lubie? I mean, what the fuck? I want to laugh about it, and then at the same time, I really want to cry. I really do.
It's just weird. It's just confusing to me to have people cheering fascism. It's like literally, and people hate when this is said, but it's the truth. It's the Nazi 1932, 1933.
Matt Getz is the symbol, the face of all of this.
Yeah, I mean, it is
With
a
those fangs coming down and the blood dripping from his, lower lip. And then, and we arm around Marjorie Taylor Greene, and here comes Danny Boy right in the middle of all that. My God.
And
What
the stuff,
are you
the
people
stuff
looking
they
at?
want, people don't want. And it's like, yeah, fuck the people. Like the number, people don't
Oh,
want.
well, at least he's not pissing in his pants there. I don't care if Joe Biden is wearing a diaper. I mean, the fact that he's not Donald Trump is really the big key here. But we shall see. I was of the same frame of mind. I think I even said this to you, as you were face down in the gutter outside of the 940 studios when Trump got elected the first time. And, I thought, in my lifetime, we've seen really horrible presidents and guys that were inept and too far to the right and, had done a bunch of things that really impacted negatively the majority of Americans. And, I thought, how much damage can the guy do? I mean, the problem is the Supreme Court. We're already seeing that. I mean, no matter what, even if Trump disappeared, even if he had checked out after his first presidency or gone to a foreign country and become, second in command in Russia, it wouldn't have mattered because he had done lingering damage that
Yes.
would take forever to get over.
That would-
Unbelievable. These decisions are the dumbest. Look at the chaos that was caused by whether you were a believer in abortion or not. I mean, it's ridiculous what's happened since.
Yes.
People in the medical profession are having to move from where they live to another state so they won't be subjected to laws that are being implemented that go back before the Stone Age.
Well, it's just the short-sighted. Look, no one. What's funny is the Dems aren't trying to stop the Republicans from living their lives. Like whatever. If you don't want to have abortions, don't have them. If you don't want to take morning after pills, don't.
Yeah.
Fucking take them. If you don't want to use birth control, which I don't understand why you wouldn't,
Do what
don't
you
do
want.
that.
Yeah.
No one's stopping you from living your way of life. You're the one
Sure.
trying to stop us. Like that's what they can't comprehend. That they can't. Well, this is how it should be. Then live that way. No one's stopping you. I
Yeah.
think that's what was great about America is you can voice your opinion, you can live your life, and then we can live ours. It's done this 180 between because
These puritanical concepts
Yeah,
that are trying to be
you're right.
imposed on people, including 10 Commandments in schools and Bibles and all of this other stuff. I mean, and think about this: the level of sincerity of Trump when he was selling these Bibles for $20 to raise money to keep himself out of jail. It's insane. All right, I don't want to go too far with this. We already have, though, Libby. What can you do? I think we needed to get that off our chest, to be in coincidence and conjunction with the upcoming Independence Day. So enjoy your celebration, people. I hope it works out well. Enjoy the fact that what we really, I'm pretty sure, Libby, that we can guarantee this. Would you guarantee this, Willis Reed? 49-28. That would be Patrick Ewing, not Willis Reed. He didn't guarantee anything. He cemented the Knicks legend by coming out on the court there as literally like in a wheelchair. That was the perfect example of the whole Peyton Manning thing. 49-28, the Marlins would have to go the rest of the way, while having a for sale sign on their only viable commodity, which is Tanner Scott out of the bullpen. Man, the guy's pretty good. 49-28, and we get the under. Well, I mean, we would actually for them to even that would put us in a draw situation there.
And they're not doing that. They're not going 21 over 500. They haven't done anything over 500 the entire year.
Holy shit! Yeah, imagine I'm playing 21 games over 500. What am I worried about, Libby? Why does this concern me? They would have to acquire Aaron Judge in order to even have a chance to play 500 ball the rest of the way. All right, we got to get out of here. Thanks so much. We will be back again on Friday. Well, we have the Mayo show today, which will be going at 1 o'clock, and that's going to be from Gilbert's, which is a great place, man. When Lenore and her her lovely daughter and the people there bring all of that grub to the table, is it not? It's overwhelming, isn't it?
It's a shock to and now we all have issues. I have my own issues that I have to sort of watch what the fuck I eat, so I don't know what to do.
Shenanigans yesterday was brilliant also. Those wings, those grilled wings there are highly recommended by a guy that, I mean, I love the way they do that. Patrick Utter, a great guy. So it was nice being there. So we'll be at Gilbert's today, 17th Street. And that's always a nice jog down the beach there for me. I enjoy that. And then Friday, we'll be back with the next Mayo show, Lunchbox show from Gulfstream Park. So that's what we have on the schedule. We won't be with you in the next couple of mornings. So thanks so much for tuning in. Enjoy your holiday, everybody, and your holiday weekend. For Mike Lubie Lubitz, I'm Jeff DeForest. Now, hopefully some new things on the horizon here, Lubie, because we got a little shocking development that kind of threw us for a loss the other day. But we will be continuing and just persevering in the strongest of fashions here as I get into year number. Mayo says, yeah, do the math. So I've already spent 73 years on the planet?
Yes,
Yeah.
this will be your 74th year.
Oh, Christ.
Years old.
How deflating. Why did he have to tell me that? Pretty good at math, too, from being a degenerate gambler my whole life. But, wow. That's devastating news, right? I guess I could have figured that, right? Because you go 0 to 1.
Yes, this culminates your 73rd year. That will culminate your 74th.
So you're now 73 years old.
You're 73
exactly.
years old.
Right.
But 73 years have passed.
So it's 73 years on the planet. I think I said 72 before, but hey, look, look. At least I'm not Joe Biden at this point.
We're not just, That's true.
Oh, Lubie, that look to open the debate. Oh, God. That's going to haunt me.
Well,
Because
it's
I am a
on-
red-blooded, America-loving. I never wanted to leave this country ever,
It sucks.
except when they were drafting people to go to Vietnam. At that point, at least it came under consideration, right? Toronto's not so bad.
There's no way. I mean, that's the
That
problem.
was an unjust war, an unjustifiable war.
There you
Come
go.
on, we were right about that.
There you go.
All right, 50,000 plus perished. All right, we will see you at 1 o'clock today from Gilbert's on 17th Street as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9:12.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.